All right, so there we go. Forge gang! I'm still a hard man! All right, so I accomplished what I wanted to set out to do, really, for now. I did my stuff on Drake Shelton, YouTube channels Southern Israelite, and Dyer. Now I'm trying to find a new orientation on what to do. I knew that I had to get that stuff done, and I did finish it. Now I can lower the ball a little bit and maybe cover Ethan Ralph and Dark Side Phil. I'm thinking about doing some AI videos on DSP and Ethan Ralph, but obviously that is not going to really, in the long run, really sustain the future of the Imperator of Forge channel. And Interdimensional Lizard IDL says, evening. Hey, what's up? I'm just trying to go over and think about potentially what to do. I mean, there isn't really a topic that is imminent. I might just go back to doing my history-related videos, and then every Friday, it's Saiyan Fridays, I can do Dragon Ball. So there's that. Like, Axel and Shaggy aren't really doing anything. Like, there's just nothing, there's nothing to cover. I mean, don't be surprised if, there's nothing to cover. Shaggy has not streamed for 3 weeks. Nothing from Axel to cover here. Axel has not been live. Well, Axel was live a few days ago, but there's nothing there. I've never covered Dark Side Phil. DSP goes insane responding to Asmongold criticism to his crash out. So yeah, I know that Kino Casino, they cover a lot of DSP and Ralph content. I have never talked about Dark Side Phil ever. I could cover this lolcow. Kino Casino and the felting of DSP. Oh no! Let's see here. So Ethan Ralph has been pissed off at Asmongold. Let's see here. The next one is Ethan Ralph. I could also cover Ralph. It looks like Pod Awful has had some shit with Ralph as well. Although this looks like it was a month ago. So there's stuff between Asmongold and DSP. There's shit between Pod Awful and Ralph. Stuff between Mersh and Ralph. There's always lots of Ralph content. Let's see here. Of course, there's King of Pole. King of Pole doesn't really make anything. I might have overdone it on the pole stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's just not really much to cover. Hey, what's up, the Great? The Great says, Forge Gang! I'm still a hard man! Of course there is KOP. Yeah, I've covered enough of King of Pole. I've covered enough of King of Pole the Great. Look, I'm gonna bore my audience if I keep covering that lolcow. Yes, I've interacted and talked to KOP a few times. None of it has really been too positive. But yeah, there's Dark Side Phil. I have never covered Dark Side Phil before. Donald Trump is a retard. Donald Trump is a fucking retard. He's almost grounded. Look, the government is shut down because of him. Because he doesn't even know how to properly work with the Democrats. Dude, even Ronald Reagan didn't do shit this stupid. Okay? Trump's an idiot, okay? He's just being used by the Russians, and he can't even read or understand Putin's mindset. I've never covered Dark Side Phil before. I don't even really think I've covered Ethan Ralph. I don't want an ad. Let's see here. Ethan Ralph declares war on Merch and his generals. Let's see here. Ralph versus Josh. That's old news. Ethan Ralph back with another pill stream felted by Jared Taylor. Wow, that might be interesting. Jared Taylor has been around forever. You got the right political take, Warhammer. President Trump is a hard-working family man. No, he's not. D-I-D-L. No, he is not. Trump is one of the worst presidents in modern American history. Just like Joe Biden. Neither Joe Biden nor Donald Trump have done a single thing good for the economy. The economy slumped under Joe Biden because he couldn't even deal with COVID, and Donald Trump made things 5 times worse over than anything that either Barack Obama or Joe Biden ever did. IDL. Trump is the worst president in my lifetime. One of the worst presidents in American history. Of course, there is KOP. There is always KOP. How about covering political stuff? There is plenty of Trump to talk about. Yeah, I could do a Trump stream. I could tell you how he was a steadfast Democrat in the 80s and how he changed over to a Republican. How about reacting to Impress's videos? I could do that, but I might get a strike if I do. There is always the Thorpes. The Thorpes. Take a look and see what they're doing right now. Yes, it's true. There's always the Thorpes. That's a year ago. Let's see here. There's Shamu stuff on the Thorpes. This is like years ago. All that I know is that they're like an incest family. They're a family that that's into incest and stuff. That's all I know about the Thorpes. I know a few other things too. I know they've been in with the police quite a few times. Let's see here. President Trump. No, Trump is not a hard-working man. You've got the right political takes. Imagine giving billions to Argentina. Oh, dude, Milei is an idiot. Millet thinks that the economy can work on its own. That might have been true in the 1800s. That might have been true in the 1800s, but that's not the case now. In a high-tech global economy, you have to have some form of state intervention propping things up. Let's see here. Dude, I could get a strike for reading that. Someone dropped what is supposed to be Shamu's docs on Cal. But if the docs is correct, the guy is kind of a chat. Not really an own. I don't know. All I know is that King of Pole does not like Shamu for some reason. King of Pole is not a big fan of the clip channels, even though in the past he has used them. You know, he has used clip channels to suit his own personal vendettas against people he doesn't like. It's just when the clip channels are on him or on his ass, he doesn't like that. Talk about a two-faced son of a gun. Keep it PC. Anyways, I have never covered Dark Side Phil, and I haven't really said too much about Ralph, so I might do some stuff on them. I can't show that docs on YouTube, but yeah, I could cover some stuff on Dark Side Phil and Ethan Ralph. That should be pretty interesting. To see through that. Those guys have been around for a long time. I could also do something on Sargon of Akkad. And The Great has requested a stream about Donald Trump. That could also be done as well. Anyways, for the time being, there's not really much to really cover or say. I apologize to you guys for the lack of content. It's just not every day is going to have like some exciting news. But hey, there's always DSP, there's always Ralph and Merch and Gator. So there's always plenty of things to to cover and do, and we could always do a stream on Trump. Trump is one of the worst presidents of all time. Anyways, I guess that's it. Sorry for the lack of content. It's just, I knew for months that I was going to do some things on Southern Israelite and Jay Dyer. And now that I've covered that, I haven't really planned what else to cover. But I'll get there. That's going to be it for now.